Welcome everybody to the HolloTalk podcast. This is Jetpack Nick, and I'm here with a special guest, my guy, Alpha Koroma. Say what's up to the people.
Peace. Peace to all the kings and queens out there. How y'all living? Peace to my guy, Nick. You know what it is, man. We building, man. He got the New York cap on. He's from Philly. That's how I know what time it is.
I'm saying, I got to show love to everywhere, man.
Yeah, man. That's representing right now.
Nah, man. So let's get into it, man. Let's get into it. First, how you doing?
I'm good, man. Of course, alive. It sounds cliche, but you never know these days, especially,
Hey,
with pandemic
you can
and
never take it for granted.
you can't take it for
Never play
granted.
with your life, man. You always got to
Nah,
cherish it and do everything you can to protect it.
that's 100. And that's what I try to do, every day, but also just try to get people to also do the same thing. And, it's harder to do that when you just try to tell somebody because people like to see results, people like to see action. So that's why I try to like lead from the front. And by that, I'm just saying, just get out here, just get active. Like if you want to do something, man, just get out here, do something. Like myself, I always wanted to, not be a boss because I don't want to rule over nobody. I don't want to
Right.
be nobody's boss, but I want to work for myself. So you feel me? That's how I got into like my ventures and everything when it's, my marketing or my production company. And that's pretty much what I love to just touch on, and that's why I'm bigging up my man Nick because he know that I'm passionate about this, and for me to just have a platform to just talk about what I love to do,
For
which
sure.
is now my career, is that's what I'm ready to get into. So it's like what you want to know, what y'all want to know. Let's go, let's
All
do
right,
it.
okay, all right. Let's get into that then. So I know you just mentioned some of the ventures that you are involved in. So for the people who don't know who you are, can you let them know who you are, what you're about, and what you do exactly?
Exactly, definitely. So first and foremost, Alpha Koroma, that is my real name. Um, my first and like foremost like venture I got into was management, and I got into like managing artists, and that was on the music side. So I started my management and marketing company, which is OTM Hood Rock, where I now manage, talent from, movies, actors, actresses, influencers. I have artists, but my artists are under my music label, which is Out the Mud Music. We're working with 5 different artists, and when I say like artists, it's a versatility. Like you're not just looking for like a rapper. I got artists that are doing, alternative rock and, neo soul. And then we got, Latin American. I have an artist that's in South Africa. And,
Okay.
that ties into, my OTM Hood Rock, my marketing, my music, and, my consultation company. And how that really, came to kind of like the forefront is when I first got into like the whole, music industry, I wanted to, I wanted to be a part of it, whether if it was making it or, being on the management side. But what I realized is if you do not have any connections in music or any type of entertainment connections, you have no value to any artist. You have zero
Okay.
value to an artist.
So this is some crazy chemistry we pulling off right now because that's definitely one of the questions I wanted to ask you, like just in particular to like a lot of the things that you're involved in, that being, the music and the entertainment side of things in general, right? Like what would you say are are those connections that you need to build up? Like, is it like a specific like person that you should talk to, or like specific types of people that you should talk to in order to be successful and build that proper network?
I can definitely tell you from personal experience, it'll be a little easier, but don't look for the type of person. You got to kind of look for the group because if you look for the type of person, they might be too far out of reach for you. But if you look for the kind of a group of people that are associated, so for example, um, when I was first coming up and I wanted to get in touch with kind of like music execs, I was looking for interns. So I know interns is kind of like a good group of people that are trying to get into the company, but technically, they're still, pretty new. And I
Right.
would try to build relationships with interns and, hopefully, if any of them, moved up, or if they went to any other companies within still that field, I was already locked in with them. Now, that might seem like it's long term, but now realistically, an internship is usually like a summer.
Yeah.
Like, if you can't wait a summer, then you ain't really ready to get, really into this grind, because, Nip said it's a real marathon.
Yeah.
So, interns, that was kind of like a group. Another good, like, this is a good jewel, is if you can kind of get in with like executive assistants. Now, that might sound like it's too far up, but it's really not, because you can go to networking events, and these execs, they don't want to go to these networking events. They really don't, unless it's
Right.
really big people are there. So they're sending their executive assistants. So all you need to do is kind of like just get in touch with them, and then it's now you just have to have you have to be ready. And
Right.
what I mean by that is, you better have like your EPK ready. You better have your bio ready. You better have like your EP ready, whatever you're going to pitch. If you're looking to go to get a label to sign you, if you're going that route. But that's the only reason why you would need to make those connections that way. But in entertainment in general, it's just good to just meet people within companies. So like, that's what helped me out the best way when it came to like now my production. So like 13 Entertainment is the production and events company that I partnered with Patrick, who I manage. He's an actor, and
Patrick
he
Bias
also,
for the people who don't know.
yeah. So Patrick Bias, he's been on, Law and Order, Persons of Interest, Billions, Blue Bloods, Wu-Tang American Saga.
Yeah,
I mean,
I ain't gonna hold you. When I seen that, I was like, "Yo, that's crazy." 'Cause my brother was actually in Wu Tang American Saga.
oh yeah, oh
Yeah,
man, we you definitely have to holler at him there.
for sure.
So, and 13E, 13E, it wasn't. I'm not gonna say as difficult, but I had more freedom to kind of like meet more people, because my thing is, I'm in New Jersey, and back before the pandemic started, springtime, summertime, it was rooftop time, and like people used to
Yeah,
go to happy hours, and I used to just go to happy hours and just kind of like just meet people, and not even just kind of like, you know learn who they are, but just kind of like learn what they do, because then that let me know if I actually need to, kind of go further, if I need to, build upon something, or it's like, okay, you're not really who I'm looking for. But definitely anybody that wants to get into management, you know, I kind of touched on it yesterday, but I'll say it again. If you're going to manage somebody, they have to want it as much as you do. The manager
absolutely.
can't want it more. It won't work, because, the manager will always bring these innovative ideas and these connections, and, building upon something. And if the client, artists, or, however you want to associate them, is not ready to jump on those opportunities, then it's like, that'll kind of like demotivate your manager, and then you'll find yourself without management, which is kind of like, it's like a cross on you. It's like, wow, if you're talented, why don't people want to, manage you? What's the problem? But I always say, like, if you're an artist, as long as you just have like the knowledge, think like a manager, you can do whatever you want, because now it is a different type of industry. It's an industry where the image is more influential than the actual sound, or actually what actually hear. You can have somebody, looking decked out, looking fresh, looking jiggy, and not saying nothing, saying not a damn thing. And you can have a bum on the corner talking some knowledge, and everybody walking
Hmm.
right by him. So, that image is everything. But that's how you just kind of got to like navigate nowadays. And some people might say, oh, that's like faking it till you're making it. It's like, nah, how do you see yourself? How do you want to see yourself? That's how you should walk. Like,
Perception is everything.
it is. I see myself as a very successful, not just an entrepreneur, but an impresario. That's somebody who is a master of managing and putting together events. So I look at myself like that. So that's why I feel comfortable, talking to people who might be higher up than me. And when I say
Right.
higher up, that's just their title, or maybe their financial bracket. But when it comes now to the hustle and now the knowledge, now we on the same level, because once I start understanding, where you at and what you're doing, I can actually be like, okay, I've been there, or I can learn that. It's a very, like, I can say, intimidating type of industry, but it's not, once you understand it's a small industry and people don't realize entertainment, music, movies, everything is tied together. And that's how, I come full circle now to your question, how I started my ventures,
Right.
OTM Hood Rock, management, marketing, consultation. So managing artists, managing talent, managing influence, marketing, working with other companies, working on their campaigns, marketing their products, building campaigns for them, but also using my channels, my connections, which is my artists, my talent, my influencers. So it works hand in hand. And now those are things that, marketing companies normally do separately, or those are things that maybe a music label might do separately. But I'm bringing them all in house
Just
because
all in one.
boom, boom. Now it's like, we working harder together. And, everybody is saying today, it's an ownership type of day. Like, you want it, you can't have it, but you can use it, but you can't have it. It's that type of day. People don't have no problem, lending money out nowadays, because,
Right.
you know, they say the lender is the one that's in power, not the spender. So you get the bag, you lend it out, and you
That's
build
a
upon that.
that's a bar. That's a bar for real.
If you hear it down the line, you know where you heard it first. So that's how it is.
Okay.
But that's that's just a few things that, and like I said to you before, like I'm just passionate about it. And when you first get into them, if you're not making money and if you're driven by money, whew, it's going to be very hard to stay in it. So I just, if it's anything I say on this podcast that somebody should take away, is like, fall in love with the process, you know, fall in love with, wanting to make that connection, fall in love with wanting to meet that next person, fall in love with, knowing, okay, you know what, if I meet this person, then yeah, it's a possibility that we'll be able to build upon this connection. Like,
Right.
don't worry about money, because the highest connection will always bring the highest dollar. Like, you just keep building on those connections, and you just take from that.
Okay, so let me ask you this question just pertaining to that
Yeah.
piece, right? So, like a lot of people say, like when you go into something that you love to do, because if you love to do it, that never feel like work, and the bag always come at the end, right? But how do you balance out like being that patient and waiting for the bag to come and doing what you love versus trying to do things to get the bag when you might need it a little more than a person who don't necessarily need it? Because it's hard to juggle, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, honestly, I keep it real with you. I don't know if you never not need the bag.
I
So
mean, you
you,
always you always need the
yeah,
bag, no, you know what I'm saying? But like
yeah,
being able to
yeah,
say, you know what, I don't gotta chase the bag necessarily. Like I don't gotta do these specific moves in order to get the bag. Like I could just do these moves out of the love of what I do, and then knowing that me doing that, everything will fall in line down the line. Not everybody has the patience or the
yeah.
wherewithal to think that long term. So what I'm asking you is like, how do you convey that thought process to somebody who isn't thinking that way?
I mean, I got to leave it to my integrity, honestly, it, because if you don't have the integrity to believe everything you're doing is going to work out, then you'll start trying to do things, backdoor, or you'll try to do things, you might do something that you shouldn't have done to somebody, and you might get to where you're going, but now you never know, something might tear you back down. So I honestly, me personally, I just rely on my integrity, and I'm like, the person who I am, and I know what I'm trying to do, and I know the people that are with me, and I'm doing it, they gonna benefit, because it's not just for me. It's like, I can go make money,
For
I'll just
sure.
go get a job, like, and just do something like that and just make money. But I'm doing something because I got a whole vision. I see like a path to where the people that's getting with me, I'm like, okay, boom, I like what you're doing. We can do this and we can build upon it. Like I want everybody the bigger picture, because if more people are motivated and there's more energy, there's a better chance that I'll get to where I'm trying to go. But if I'm going at it alone, some people might be like, nah, don't work with him. Like he kind of shisty, he kind of shady, that messes up your money too.
Yeah, it does.
So it's like I kind of some people might not understand what I'm saying, but I just rely on my integrity and just who I am. When people meet me, my character, you know, I just build off of that, have a conversation with me, and I vice versa. I'm also looking at somebody's character and integrity also.
Right.
I want to know, like, okay, is this somebody I want to share? Like, okay, boom, this is how we can do this. And this is how we can build and leverage.
All right, so let me
But
ask you two questions, right? So question one, and this question is to kind of simplify what we just talked about,
yeah,
right? Is there a way to still have integrity while also protecting your financial interests?
yeah. And that is, I would say, if it's a situation you working with somebody, you just always can get a contract, but that's before money. Like that's kind of when money is on the process. When money is already there, if it's your money, it's your call. As
Right.
end of the day, if you are a manager and you putting money up on an artist and they want to do something you don't want to do, then you don't do it. It's your money. So that's how I look at it. And some people might say that's wrong, but this is where you get these situations now. You hear artists saying, labels are holding this from them and labels are doing that. And that's because they went and did something and the label was like, oh, we said not to. So we gonna not do this. And I don't even want to get into like, something like that, because at the end of the day, it's always about money. And, I hate to feel like, damn, like this got messed up over some money. But yeah,
Right.
it's hard to have integrity and still kind of like be financially strong for yourself, unless, which I've done before, just kind of like work and do barter system, like, work for somebody like, yo, let me come do this for you. And if you let me do this, oh, let me go down to this venue. I'll do a photo shoot at this venue if they let me do an event here. And it's like, boom, I build integrity with this company, this business, or this brand, because it's not about money. They see my efforts. So it's like, that's why I always say fall in love with the process, because like you can go get money, but if you fall in love with getting the money, somebody might mess your money up, and it might be like
Right.
one of your people's might be, and then now you don't know how to act because
That's a fact.
it was just based on money.
Yeah, and so okay, so like kind of going up that, my second question was like, so we're in what I would like to call the people business, right? Like,
Yeah,
we deal with people, all the time, especially like within our work. My question to you is, how do you or anybody put trust into these people that you deal with, especially when you're doing business? Because we all know business, it could be shicey, it could be shady, but you have to have a level of trust to get things done and to move forward with things. So, in your opinion, how do you trust people in the people business?
me, I kind of like move a little behind the scenes. Like if it's anybody I'm getting involved with, it's kind of premeditated sometimes, most of the time, honestly. So I look into like, what they've done, maybe like who they've worked with or what kind of work it is. And it's usually nothing too extreme, but it's harder when somebody approaches you,
Right.
because now it's like, why are you approaching me?
Hmm.
But nobody ever says why. They just always say like, yeah, you're supposed to be approaching me because I'm the right person to do it. But me, I always think, why are you choosing to reach out to me, for whatever service, whether
Yeah,
it's
we had that conversation off the record. Yeah.
yeah, whether it's to do an event, or you need an artist, or you need somebody to be in a commercial or something. Like why, how, why and how. And from there, that's where, depending on those answers, I move forward because it's a real shicey business, man. It really is. And, you know, I'm learning off of other people's losses, you know, just by other people's, I feel like their generosity, not their stupidity, their generosity, because you got to go into business, you know, humbly, think, believing, not just thinking, believing that people aren't going to do you wrong. But um, I can definitely say this is another reason why I wanted to have my own companies instead of working for somebody, because if it's the foundation that I'm building and people know who I am, I had no problem. I had no problem, if I need to work with somebody, I have no problem explaining who I am, no problem who we work with, no problem showing who we work with and those things and everything like that. But now it just comes down to what the value is, because I don't ever undercut your price. Don't ever put your price where you believe your work is, because somebody will pay you your value. That's one thing I'll also say. So whether it's photography, videography, if you're a model, if you doing promoting yourself, promoting nightclubs or bottle service, don't undercut yourself, because you can get that money. It's out there.
Yeah.
People undercutting so they can save themselves money. So that's why it's like when you start thinking like that and start building like that, now you start moving into that you're a businessman, businesswoman, and you can actually start working for yourself.
That was a full answer. That was a that was a well-rounded answer. And for somebody like me who, like I said, I deal with people often, like these are interesting takes, to hear from other people who are also involved in similar things that I am in. So, like, cause like for me, like I reach out to people like who I don't know, try to get them on the podcast, and just take the chance to say, all right, I feel like I could build with this person, I could build a relationship with this person. I feel like I could trust this person enough to come on the pod and do a good job, and then we continue to build a relationship. So it's definitely interesting to hear a similar but different perspective for you being is something a little bit different than what I'm doing right now, which is the podcast. So for that, I appreciate you, and I'm pretty sure the people who will listen appreciates that too.
Yeah, man. I said it before, we had prep sessions
Yeah,
yesterday, and
yeah.
I know probably like 15, 20 minutes of the prep, I was like, thank you, man. Thank you, man. Thank you, man. Because I understand it's like when, you want to interact, but you just want to make sure, humbly, like, what's your intentions and everything. And I've had that experience where you had an interaction where you go humbly, and they kind of like take it for a different direction. It's like, whoa, like I'm coming like professionally, like this is a joke, so I'm not. And this I got the vibe that this was more professional of the field that I'm going for. So that's why I wanted to go this route.
Oh, you talking about coming on the HolloTalk podcast?
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
That's a fact. That's a fact. That's a fact.
No, listen, man. I've tried to put myself in a position where people can feel like that, where they don't even gotta come talk to me. They could look at my work and have my
Yeah.
work speak for itself. The fact that we going into season 4, and we 4 seasons in a matter of close to 2 years. That's a little a
Yo,
little fast, right? That's a
and I
little
said
fast.
that, bro. I said, yo, I done seen so many podcasts, and I'll even put it from my perspective. I had a podcast. I'll say I had, because eventually I want to get back into it,
Okay.
but I love people's work like yours. Like, so I rather just keep pushing like your work going with my energy, instead of trying to like get in the same market of having a podcast, because it's demanding. You know,
It is.
it's hard when, especially where I can tell you're a solo act, where you're booking, and you're also editing, and now
Well, okay. Well, I mean, I do a lot, but I don't want to say that I'm a solo. I got a pretty good team of people who support me in
oh
ways
no,
in which
no,
I
when
need to
when
be
I say
supported.
solo, like yeah, it could be like four of y'all, but y'all got like Barstool Sports, a studio where y'all got somebody working y'all marketing, and y'all
Right.
got somebody, and then y'all can just concentrate on building the actual show up. Y'all think of like guests and themes and everything. So it's different when it's more than just energy. It's financial and it's thought and is you got to be motivated. You got to want to do it. And sometimes people can be hyped up for the first 90 days, and that's
Hmm.
that probation period. And then after that probation, you got the next
The
round of
honeymoon
180
phase.
days, yeah, honeymoon phase. And it's like, they getting an annulment. They not even getting
Yeah.
divorced. They don't even want to do it no more. It ain't even been a year in. But that's why I'm like, man, you when you said you was going into season 4 in 2 years, I was like, man, you was pumping, you was grinding,
Yeah, I
you
mean,
was grinding.
and we we do 20 plus episodes per season. So, you know what I'm saying? And like these episodes be hour at
Yeah,
the
man.
minimum, they are hour, at maximum 2 to 3 hours, and this is on a regular basis. So, again, even though you said like this is something I'm doing like solo, and I know what you mean by that, but I gotta shout out the team. I can't
Yeah,
not
nah,
shout out the
definitely.
team. Like,
Shout out
shouts
the
out to
team,
them.
man. I shout out the team on my end.
And shouts
The
out to
team
the
always
guests
goes,
too, man. Y'all
yeah,
important too with this process because
yeah,
if I
man.
don't got y'all on here, I mean I think I'm a pretty interesting guy, but everybody don't want to hear me talk to myself. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
man. Hey, bro. We was vibing yesterday during the prep session.
For
So
sure.
the audience is in for a treat every, anytime and every time they tune in. So that's a must.
Absolutely. All right, so let's shift gears just a little bit, right? So me, this is my personal interest, right? So like I know like all the record we was talking about um some like some TV shows and film production, right? Some things that you're involved in, right? So one of my questions is as far as like equipment is concerned, right? Like what's like some of the equipment that you would need to be effective and efficient and the production process of a film and a TV show or a movie?
Definitely camera. And
Any
when I say
specific kind of camera?
yeah, yeah, man. Yeah, man. And I can definitely say this is something that people you won't hear unless you go research it. If you want to have an opportunity to have something you produce independently be on a streaming service like Apple or Amazon, that has to be shot in like a red camera or like the highest like Black Dragon type of like cameras. Like so red is a type of camera, and I'm not even gonna go into like the specific because I'm nowhere near like knowledgeable to even try, but reds are definitely, more on like the independent side because those are more, I don't want to say on affordable, but they shoot high like 16K movie, like
Damn.
movie grade. And, from there, it's really your post production, how your post production is rolled out. And you can now, the way, the pandemic has made it, you could go to like a studio and you can pay for post production.
Right.
So the real process to, putting together something is, of course, the equipment. Your cameras are always important, but your lenses.
Okay.
So, I don't even want to go to it too much in depth, but let's say you say, okay, you want to shoot, kind of like a drama. So now we might want to consider a certain type of lenses to kind of like concentrate on different focal points to give you the certain feel of the scene and everything like that. So that all factors into equipment. So if you're somebody who has a budget, you kind of need to know your scenes in advance so you can budget and get the lenses that you need for those scenes, or you might need to get a certain type of lighting for certain scenes. So equipment is it's crazy.
All right, so let me ask you this question because like that's a nugget I didn't know about, right? So like
Yeah,
how would you determine what kind of equipment you need depending on the scene?
there
Like what
you
about
go.
the
Yeah,
scene makes you say, "Oh, I need this camera or that lens or, whatever."
yeah. I mean, that would have to start from like your storyboard. Like if I wouldn't start any type of like production on anything, whether it was like a 1 minute or 5 minute or an hour, you want a storyboard, because from there, that's how you can determine what equipment is needed. What shots are what going to be what shots. If you just kind of like say, okay, your scenes, and you want to just go kind of like guerrilla shoot them, you'll get your scenes, but they might not come out the shots that you might be looking for, because you might just only have a certain type of lens, or you might only have two lenses. But it depends. I feel like nowadays the way content is being made like POV, kind
Yeah.
of like from like, the viewer can see a perspective, or is this being shot guerrilla, unless it's an actual movie or a TV show. But then again, who's really watching that? Because people are watching more documentary style, you know, television or streaming services nowadays than they are watching like the traditional show.
Okay. Okay. I mean, that's a lot to unpack, I guess. Like, because
Yeah,
like I
I
said,
mean,
I'm just like I said, because like I said, we talked about this, a little bit before, and I'm definitely interested in like starting a script or something like that for like a TV
yeah,
show or a movie or something like that.
that was, I would always say that that's something that you can't ever go wrong, because you start doing your script. That's the best way. You gotta get your foundation, and the more you work on your script, that's when you can actually start seeing the shots that you want. And you get with somebody to kind of help you work on your script. And the reason why I say you get with somebody, because that just gives your brain a little bit of rest. Like when
Right.
you're trying to see everything, like just have somebody just have a second pair of eyes, or just to hear hear where you're going, hear the flow of it. But like you said, man, we had touched on it, and me, from meeting you, I'm interested in kind of like seeing, not just the podcast, but just seeing you as like the actor now, because like
Oh yeah,
I got the vibes, man.
the podcast people know from listening to the previous podcast. I'm a little actor extraordinary.
Yeah, so because like I got the right vibe and everything, and I feel like I'm like, yeah, man, like I see you as an actor, but I see you more like as like a personality, man, like somebody
Yeah,
that
for sure.
you get out there and just like you got people that act and like they kind of like follow, but
Hmm.
personality, you could just be yourself on the screen, like that's who you
Absolutely.
are. So levels to it is different.
No, yeah, look, the same thing you told me yesterday. It was like you're an artist, like
Yeah, man.
every in the totality of everything, you're an artist. Like don't box yourself into one particular category. You're not just a podcaster, you're not just an actor, you're not just a person that's involved in music or entertainment. You're an artist extraordinaire. Like you do it all.
Yeah, man. Don't ever like, because once you put a label on yourself, you now box yourself in. So now, but if you just leave yourself, you know, presentable, like, and that's how you are. You just creative person. You creative director. You're an artist. Like,
Yeah.
don't put yourself in a box.
All right. So can I go back to like what we was talking about as far as like the production of like like
Oh
a
yeah,
TV show or a film. So I want and like the reason I'm asking this question because I don't know if the obstacles are exactly the same, but I wanted to know what some of the obstacles as far as like producing like your own like film or
you,
television show versus like doing it with like a company. Like is the
yeah.
obstacles different or are they the same?
Nah. So you know what? I'm gonna get a second opinion. So because I got a professional. So I got a question for you.
Oh, we got a
You
special
listen.
guest?
Yeah, you listening? So let me know if I'm asking it correctly.
Okay.
What's the obstacles you know you have no you might go through or encounter when putting together a production on like a movie or some type of like TV show? That's right, or did I say
Yeah,
that
no,
wrong?
yeah, that was the question, but like more specifically, it was like what's the difference between trying to do it yourself versus doing it with
Oh,
like
okay.
like a production
I was
company
okay.
or something
So
like that.
what's this the question? Because you really did this. This is why I'm glad he's here. So he said, "What's the difference of trying to do a project independently or with a production company?"
Both the same thing. but it's just one is just more money and one is just like dealing with a little bit more less people. But they both the same kind of concept, but like less is done independently. But the thing is, independently is dealing with people. That's the biggest thing. It's like once you deal with the people who's all locked down, it ain't good. But everybody got to play their part and stick to their role. So if somebody gonna go get locations, go get the location. Somebody gonna be the script supervisor, go be the script supervisor. Don't clash your bump heads and talk about things that ain't unnecessary. Everybody come through the same mindset that we're gonna get this done because it's gonna be a road. So just make sure you look at the movies, compare your movies, make sure whoever your videographer, whoever's gonna be your DP. Make sure you look at something on TV, look at something, go research some DPs. Make sure you have some good money to actually shoot a right looking project.
But that's the X factor, the money. With production company, usually checkbook is open.
Yeah.
But independently, but
you want to be independent because you can shoot an independent movie and look professional. You can shoot an independent movie and look trash. You gotta look at the movies that's on TV, find somebody with good sound, comparable to TV, somebody with good video, film, comparable to good TV. Make sure you have enough cash to get the right actors, not your friend, not your bro who you think you can act. Put all that personal stuff to the side and get the actual people who act. Spend some money people on investing into actors. You want a good mechanic? You want a bad mechanic. So you get what I'm saying?
Listen, no, that's
so
that's 100% real.
Save up a couple dollars, get it
so
right, do it once right.
For everybody that's actor, entrepreneur, business owner, Patrick Bias, that was a professional answer. That's don't get no better than that. That's straight from the horse's mouth. He's on the camera, behind the camera. He's made movies. He's been in movies.
Tell him to come in the camera, man.
He said, "No, come on the camera real quick." Look, because this is how actors act. Now he got to wipe his face and shit. You know what I'm saying? I knew he was gonna do that shit. Now he wiping his face. Hold up. Now he got to make sure his head is all shiny.
Oh, what's up, man? What's going on? No, look, I got fuck on you real quick. No, wait. Oh, you getting me?
Yeah, no, hold on. I'm gonna put it up. Oh shit, I got you.
You getting me?
What up, bro? What's good?
Chilling, man, chilling. No, what you saying? What you saying? Wu-Tang, peace, God. No, my brother was in there too. He was an extra. He was an extra in there. Yeah.
And what scene?
I want to say when Ray and Meth was freestyling in the hallway and the cop came through.
Okay.
I think it was that scene.
Oh, okay, cool. All right, bro. That's what's up, bro.
You got to come on the pod too, like, just for your own episode.
Yeah, man. I come through, bro. Show some love. You get me? Yeah, bro. What's your name?
I'm Nick.
Nick, pleasure to meet you.
Pleasure to meet you too.
Yeah, man. Where you from?
I'm from Philadelphia, man.
Philly? Okay.
Yeah.
From, so I've been in Jersey a lot of my life.
Okay.
Yeah.
Shout out to you, man.
Come link up with us one of these days, bro.
No, absolutely. This all on record right now. We record.
Hey, man, it's all cool.
I said, I guess this ain't nothing new to you. You used to be in front of the camera.
Yeah, man. But yeah, bro, shit. Man, just back out here, bro. I just came back out here from Oklahoma. So been on the road for a little bit, but I'm back out here, bro.
All right. Well, shit. Well, I got you. Let me ask you some questions. Let me ask you a couple questions if you cool with that.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So I'm curious to know because, like I said, my brother was in the Wu-Tang joint, right? So how did you go about getting your role in that particular show?
I had an audition for it. So my agent had hit me up, said she had an audition for me. Then I went to the casting director. The casting director known me for many years. And I think it might have been like the same day, maybe after, I heard back and it was like, we want to see him for a different role. So I had auditioned for that. No. They said instead of that role that I auditioned for, they wanted to give me a different role. And then the character was God. So
Yeah, he said, peace, God. He said, what's today's mathematics?
yeah,
That's my joint, man.
yeah, thank you, bro. Yeah, so I mean, I'm just actually happy that happened. You get me? Because I felt like that was just like manifestation towards my life. You get me? Trying to understand the supreme mathematics more. So,
was that something that you had to like dive into to kind of understand to play that role?
when I played the role, I was just like watching videos of the 5%ers, and then I was like, because you know when you growing up in New York, you always see the 5%. I'll be downstairs, 5% downstairs, and so I was like, shit. That is right before filming a little bit. I was like, all right, 5% was like this, so I was like, I'm gonna do it like the 5%. So I literally watched them how they was doing it before, just to remind myself before filming, and then I was like, all right, I'm gonna do it like this.
No, I was like, no, cause like, you know, I actually just like rewatched that scene, you know, cause like, you know, talking to Alpha, he was just letting me know all the people that he was connected with. So, you know, I did my due diligence and researched all the people he was talking about. And then like when I seen the scene, I'm like, oh, that was him the whole time. I didn't even know that. And then I'm like, I like that scene. It felt good. It felt real. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay, good looking, bro. Thank you.
I mean that's a testament to your skills. So, you know. Gotta get a shout out where it's due.
Yeah, thank you, bro. You know, shit. I'm fortunate that I was on there. You know, that was just one of those shows that I was just like, man, I'm happy to be a part of. I feel like that's like a historic show to me. So,
I mean, Wu-Tang Clan is a historic group. You know, they're historic to music in general, let alone just hip hop.
Right. Yeah, you're right. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so,
man.
So let me ask you this. So what's the what's the preparation or the difference in preparation for like doing different roles? Because like I you know, I was looking through your catalog and you played a bunch of different roles. So is there like a way that you prepare differently for specific roles, or is it all the same kind of preparation process?
So when I'm auditioning for a role, it's like right now, I look at the script the day of, like I just go into just start just auditioning for the scenes. You get what I'm saying? Or just right. Like right away. But when it comes to like preparing for like a movie role, man, it's just like I just dive in, bro. Sometimes like I read the script, then I read the script again, then I read it, I go back, then I read it some more. And then I'll just keep on going over the scenes in the beginning. I'll start from the beginning, then I go through the end, like each scene, and then I group them. I'll be like, okay, first 9 pages, I'm gonna learn this. Then I'm gonna learn the 9 pages again tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm gonna learn the next 9 pages, and maybe add another 5 pages. And then another day I'll be like, if I have a month to start filming in 2 months, then I'll be like, all right, I'm gonna go back to the beginning, and then I'm gonna learn from the beginning to the first few pages all the way up to the 19 pages. So I'm gonna rehearse that scene, and then I'll get good with that part, and then I'll go with the next scene. So I'll do the next scene, start rehearsing the next scene, and I'll just kind of like go in that rhythm just like that.
Okay. All right, good. And the reason I asked is because, like, you know, I don't know if you know you could hear me when I was talking to Alpha, but you know, I did you know some acting back in college, you know, with drama club and everything. So you know, like especially when I'm talking to people who are in this business or just actors in general, like I definitely like to ask specific questions because this is something that I definitely want to get back into. Like, not I don't know if it may be full time, like if the right opportunities come up, but it's definitely something I want to, you know, get back into for sure. So, you know, if you got any opportunities, let a brother know, man.
Yeah, man. The best thing I could give you for is to learn the business, bro. Learn the business.
Now, what did that entail? Like for you, what does that mean?
It's meeting cast and directors, people in the industry, bro. That's it.
Well, listen, man. I know that you wasn't expecting to come on, but I appreciate the time you gave me, man.
Yeah, man. Pleasure meeting you. All right.
Pleasure meeting you as well. Like I said, though, I'm gonna definitely tap in with you for sure, though, because I would definitely love to have you come on so you can have your own episode and we could really dive into things.
For sure. All right, bro.
Thank you.
I mean, we talking like he about to leave. He just going off the camera.
No, yeah, for sure. I
Yeah.
just got transitioned back to you, man. It's about you. I appreciate you, allowing me to talk to him, and
No, that's what it's about,
for
man.
sure.
Shit, that's the whole thing. That's why I mentioned, that's why I hear. That's what
No, I'm
it's
saying
about.
like the good shit is the real shit. Like, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? we on record and we really doing it. So, shouts out to you for
exactly.
that. I appreciate that.
It's a fact.
All right. So let's see where we was at. So I want to know, like, is there like any pros and cons of trying to do like your own production? Like what are the pros and cons? I think is the better question. And trying to produce things to yourself, whether that's film, music, whatever
Yeah,
the
I
case
was
may
gonna
be.
say in anything independently, the pros to it is if it goes up, you keep everything, and you ain't got to worry about like of course, yeah, you paying people, but it's people that earned it, people that work with you, people that put in the time. So yeah, that's also money that's going into theirs, and kind of should feel good about giving those people money when you get the return back, whether it's music or movies or an event or anything like that. But I think people think about the cons too much, and that's what keeps them from going the independent route. And the cons are people doing you dirty, number
Yeah.
one, especially if you're somebody that puts money up and, there's an agreement verbally, but not kind of like contractually, that can kind of like really, really mess. Like, I don't even want to even go that direction, because it's easy to just say like, oh yeah, man, we can just we'll just do this at the end of it, and everybody just shake their head, and then somebody end up just getting all the money and just nobody getting a cut.
Yeah.
Like, that happens. That's too easy to happen. But this is why people think about that first, instead of thinking like, yo, well, this is my people, so I'm doing this with. Independently, it'll work out if we start this business together, or, if we put this event together, or if we put this movie together, or if we build this artist up. Like, if you look at it as we doing it together, this is my people, the cons, you don't have to worry about the cons, because that's only if you're going into it with like that mindset. Like, if you thinking negative, it's probably somebody you're not really too sure about. And
Right.
then, yeah, you should maybe just go work for somebody instead of kind of like doing it independently.
And going to work for somebody on a project or production isn't necessarily a bad thing, would you say?
Nah, hell no. Get your credits. Hell no, get your credits, because credits is they add up. They add up. And now you start coming in with a higher value when you got credits.
That's
Because
essentially
now
building your resume, right?
yep, that's exactly
Gotcha.
what it is. So there ain't nothing wrong with that. It's just, sometimes also you can learn, like Pat said, you can learn the industry, you can learn the business, getting your credits. You can, just like you go to college, you get your credits, you
Yeah,
learn, you get your credits. That's what it is.
for sure. So we talked a lot about your network being your network, right? We talked a lot about your network being your network. So is there a difference in how you go about interacting with people depending on like what side of the business that you're involved in at that particular moment in time?
Nah, I always approach everybody the same way, because it's like, it really don't matter. Because if you approach people differently, maybe you approach, executive one way, and you might approach, an intern one way. You never know, that intern might have been brought in by that executive, and now it's different when somebody is getting an opinion from somebody else when they have their own. They always say build your own opinion. I That's true. But when you meet somebody for the first time and then it's kind of like a conflict of like opinions, you kind of like hesitant now because
Right.
unless somebody's like, wow, like, yeah, you know Nick? Yeah, I met Nick the other day. Like, oh wow, yeah, I met Nick too. He seems like a cool dude. Now that person's like, all right, cool. Like, that's cool, no problem. But if this person's like, yeah, I like Nick, and somebody else is like, well, I don't really know about Nick. Somebody gonna be like, yeah, maybe I should be kind of chill because
Right.
maybe he could have been just acting. He could have been just like, posing. So it don't matter to me. I approach everybody the same way because one, that's just who I am. Two, I probably honestly don't even know who you are until you tell me. And that's not even like disrespectful because, I know names before I know titles. So like, if you tell me your name and don't tell me your title, I'm gonna say, yo, what's up, Nick? And somebody might be like, yo, you don't know that's fucking like such Nick, like he
Right.
fucking yeah. Like I'm like, nah, man, he just told me his name was Nick. Like, so if you introduce yourself like that, then I get the drift. I know how to come in the door, but I'm always coming as me. But I get it. I'm gonna come in correct.
Oh, all right. So I did. This is an interesting question. I think, like, and this is like interesting not just for me, but I think for people who are going to listen to this. So, in your opinion, like, is there like any tells, like, when you meet somebody to be like, maybe I don't want to deal with this person, or is it like something like that you might see and be like, I think I could actually vibe with this person. Like, what are those things for you when you interact with people?
I, it's very cliche that people just want to say they go with their gut and they go with the feeling, and it's easy to just say that, but that's not like you can't understand that when somebody's like asking you, what should you look for? So it's not something you should look for, on somebody, but kind of like habits, and they could be like, short-term habits. And I feel like short-term habits are easy red flags you should see. And the quick short-term habit is if somebody's quick to do anything for money, like quick to do anything for money is like a red flag. And some people might say that's a hustler, but you know, that also goes with if they're making money with you and
Right.
somebody's like, yo, I can do, help me do this, but that might have a negative impact on you. They getting that dollar. They getting that dollar. So, you know, one thing to make money, yeah, but quick to make money. Sometimes you gotta just, know how they've been making their money, just, you know, ask around, like, you don't even gotta know who they've been working with, just know how they are. Like, is they somebody like, okay, hey, yo, man, is this somebody like if I put money in, am I gonna like get stiff? That's pretty much,
Right.
what you want to know because, end of the day, if you get a contract, you'll get your money back. It might may take some time, but that's why you always want to do it like that. But I think another tale outside of just somebody that's just quick to make money any type of way is um, I would say somebody that just always says it's somebody they don't take fault. It's somebody else's fault. They got to answer for everything. If something happens and it was their fault, it was somebody else's fault. Like that's and the way you kind of like see that is they're always telling you what somebody else messed up on. Like, yeah, man, like that person messed up on this, I had to fix it. Or that person had to messed up on, I had to fix it. And it's like, damn, so you Mr. Clean or Mrs. Clean? Like, I get it, okay. But you know, you gotta watch out for those type of people because they like to try to act like they're doing the work, they're taking the credit. And you're teaching, and I hate to say it like that, but you're teaching and you're guiding and you're leading and you're influencing, and they're absorbing and they're giving that off as, well, I already knew that. I mean, I already knew that. I did this with this person. They got an answer. They got a time where they did it already after you've been explaining. So it's like, oh, okay, so I'm gonna just be quiet and I want you to kind of like take the lead, but then it's stagnant. Ain't nothing going on because they ain't got nothing to play off of. You got to watch out for those type of people who want to just kind of point the finger, point out what they did because they had to clean it up or somebody didn't do it.
Yeah, those are all things to stay away from for sure.
Yeah,
Not even just in business, that's in life in
that I
general.
am, bro. I was about to say, I think that's life,
Yeah,
man. You want to stay away from,
that's some that's real life advice for
yeah,
the people that's listening.
that's a big fact.
So with your businesses, you got your record label, you got your production company. What are some of the goals that you have for those businesses moving forward?
Right now, straightforward with my music label is just building up the artists. Like I mentioned earlier, we have 5 artists, and I'm gonna even go and say it's about 6 of us now, because I've been connecting with a few artists on online. But um, like my I won't even say my top artists, because they're all coming out. Like they were all dropping music last year, so they're all on streaming platforms. But Loner Kid, that's pretty much my first artist that kind of like I got with. He's a local artist out of South River, New Jersey, and he also has kind of like, I don't want to say a counterpart, but it's kind of like a label partner, his label mate, which is Hey Dan X. He's also out of South River, New Jersey, and those 2 artists, they are kind of like the foundation of like out the mud music. What a lot of people don't realize is OTM Hood Rock. I was doing music with OTM Hood Rock, but that's when I was managing artist Rec Banga. And Rec Banga, like he's like you've seen him all over. He's really actually trending up right now. So, it's bless ups to him. But it's crazy because I remember I mentioned I think earlier, even yesterday, if you don't have the right connections for an artist, you can't do anything for them.
Right.
So it was that situation with Rec to where I was managing Rec, and like he was working, but I felt like I couldn't keep up with his work because he was putting out the music, but I couldn't get it to the right people to now get it in the areas, because with the rap industry, especially, gangster rap, you got to really be connected, and it's a different type of circle from, doing like emo or, pop or R&B, or just being an artist in general and just kind of like managing your own catalog. But,
Right.
long story short, Rec, he's with A Plus Music Group, and now OTM Hood Rock. That's why that's my management, marketing, and consulting company, and I have Altima Music, which is my label with Loner Kid and Hey Dan X and HR the Kid, Young Chigo, and I have. Oh, you up out of here? I'm a holler. I'm gonna hit you when I get up. My man Pat, he up out of here,
Oh, all right.
and
Now I was gonna tell you to tell him thank you for coming on the vibe for a little second, but
yeah, well, I let him
yeah,
know, and
I appreciate that.
my fault. HR the Kid, Young Chigo, D&D Nick, and my man Piz. He's an artist. I was mentioning he's in South Africa, so Piz. I linked up with him on Instagram, and real different type of sound, dope. And I got an artist, Gabe. He's out of Chicago, so literally I've been just like building with those artists, and I gotta give them lip props because we were dropping so much music last year, and I shifted gears because I realized it's a different type of like monster that you're battling with when you're doing it independent. So I realized I don't want to do the same thing I did with Rec, and get these fire artists and not have the right connections. So that's why I've been just building on the back end, and the gift and the curse with the pandemic is crazy. Like, it was a time that took away from a lot of people, and God rest all the people that lost somebody during that time.
Right.
And during that time, I was just locking in and just like trying to just meet people online and trying to build on connections. And that's where I got the opportunity to get my distribution from Symphonic. And big shout out to Symphonic and Jason Jordan, A&R for Symphonic, who gave me the opportunity to set up my label with them, to where now I have my distribution through, like 36, 40 different countries throughout the world. And, we're on all different streaming
Yeah.
platforms. So now I can offer them, the services. It's not like I'm not knocking United Masters or DistroKid, but let's keep it real. Like, unless United Masters gives you some money, they not gonna really put nothing up on you. Like, that money you put into them is for the artists that they gonna put money on. So my advice on that is learn the business and go out here, build your business plan and present it to, to a distribution and show them that you got artists and you got a catalog and somebody will give you a shot. And that's where you just got to now just be ready to build your artists up. And, we touched on it yesterday where a lot of people want to just go towards the music side. And yeah, I get it. You're an artist, so you're supposed to do that. But what you don't realize is it's a different age. Artists, they mean you got to be able to, be fashionably sound.
Mm-hmm.
You got to be on the camera. You got to be on the radio, obviously, but you got to be able to do an interview. Like, we ain't just talking about like just rapping all the time. So you got to be marketable. So with me, I already have the knowledge on that. That's why I'm confident. I just need to just have the artists that, I see the gift that they got. I see the work, and we just work together. And I know we can do it. And I was hyped yesterday, but I'm not going to say it on the record because I don't want to. I don't want to put too much out there.
You
But
all good.
I was saying I've been working on it for like 2 years, and
Mm-hmm.
it's coming through. I just been putting some work in, but shit, shout out Reebok, shout
You
out
already.
ABJ, shout them out. Let's go. We working out.
Shouts out to the gang.
Yeah, man. So shout them out, man. We gonna get something going with it, man. But that's what I mean. Like, you gotta see the vision, and what I mean by see the vision, I see I need to build a brand. And when I came out with OTM Hood Rock, the name is different, but I felt like, okay, you know what? That's how you got to stand out. Brands start out with being different.
What's the story behind the name? Like, is there a story behind the name?
Yeah, so OTM, that's out the mud,
Right.
and then the slash the hood rock, that's how that was the other half of the music with Red
Okay.
Banger.
Got you.
So that's just I just left it the same. We got I talked to him. It's no bad blood, nothing like that, and it's more of like a mature thing where I can admit like, yo man, you doing way better than you are now than what you are, man. He knows it too, and he's like, yo, I appreciate you for just keeping it real. Like, yo, if you can't do something, man, like get me in touch with somebody else. And he knew the right people already. So that's how you're supposed to do it, because now I'm more knowledgeable on, other things where I feel like
Yeah.
I can come into my own lane now. And they say that it's lonely at the top, but I ain't been there yet. So when I get up there,
Yeah,
I'll let some people know.
I'll let you know.
Yeah, yeah. So when I get up there.
Yeah, that's what I call good business, though. Being able to allow people to grow and become all that they can. Not necessarily like stranglehold in the situation, saying, "No, you my artist, you staying with me, and you not
Yeah,
doing nothing for them." That's good business. And on top of that, who knows? Things circle back around. You know what I mean?
yeah. That's how I look at it, man. And that's why I say it's when you learn the business, then you know how to play the game the right way. And you can get into situations more confidently instead of more skeptical, like thinking, what if? And just to kind of give you exactly what I mean is I understand that music is influential. So, I have to have a connection with maybe somebody that does clothes, or, you got to have a connection with somebody on the radio. You got to have a connection with, people that are at at TV stations, and got to have a connection with somebody at a magazine. So I understand all of those facets of it. So this is why I just meet those people in general. I'm always interacting with people in those industries because I understand if I just meet the right person in one of those different areas, that just helps out all, like, everything levels up, whether it's an artist, whether it's an actor or an influencer, whether it's myself, everybody. So learn the business, and then you know how to, interact, and you know how to move throughout it and put yourself in better situations.
Let me ask you this question, because you and Pat both said this, like, for like some of the things
Yeah.
that we talked about. Y'all keep saying learn the business, right? So for you specifically, what does that mean? Like if you was to tell somebody you learn a business, but this is what I mean, like what would you say that means?
The right people to contact. Like if you're good, if it's music and you're looking to get everybody's looking to get a record deal. That's not happening. You're not gonna send an EP to a record label and get a deal. That's not happening. Those days are done. You're now being discovered. So now you need to know who to reach out to. So you can't just hit an A&R. A&Rs are getting too far up.
Yeah.
You gotta like interns really are the ground level people. So if you really want to have a chance of getting in with a like a record label, I would only recommend going with any of the top big three, like UMG and Warner, them cats. But anybody smaller, unless you know your terms, but you need to get in with somebody from bottom level so that way you can like not just build a connection up, but they can really tell you who is who. Like they can tell you the correct email address of the A&R that you should be getting in touch with, or the phone number of the head of the label who you should be talking to, not getting the runaround from a secretary, because the interns, they really do know that shit. And
Right.
they some of them they be down to help. You'd be surprised because it's like a humbling thing. It's like you approach them and it's like, yeah, you keep it real. Like I'm just trying to like get this out and da 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 da. And but it depends on the situation. And like you said, learn the business. It just means who you need to contact first off. Like, and whether it's music, you need to know the correct people who you need to be contacting. Just don't contact random people saying I'm an artist, because then you'll get shunned. Like you won't even get in.
Right.
If it's you want to do a movie, who you need to be contacting if you want to get a budget, or if you want to get it on a production, like maybe you want to use a studio, or maybe you want to get it on streaming services. Like that's like a whole different monster, because some people don't even realize you can't even contact a company like Netflix directly. You have to be in contact with somebody who has a relationship with Netflix. So therefore, there's a middle ground, which usually means it's a counsel, which AKA a lawyer.
Right.
So here's a quick tip. If somebody on the podcast, they're listening now and they're like, I got a script and I want to get it to somebody on Netflix, I'm gonna tell you who you're gonna contact. Go on LinkedIn, or you go on one of those search, professional databases, and you look up lawyers for Netflix, and you reach out to them and you let them know what you have, but make it presentable, of course. And if they're interested, there you go. That's the quickest way to Netflix. You're not going to contact the director. You're not going to contact the producer. You're not going to contact an actor, because they have no say. Legal counsel. So contact the lawyers. They all say, in their title or heading, or professional resume, it'll say legal counsel for Netflix, or attorney at Netflix, or vice versa.
Okay. All right. I appreciate that, and I'm pretty sure the people appreciate that too. That's a good thing for people to know. So I got one more thing for you, one more thing for you to do. But before I do that, right? You got any questions you want to ask me?
Um, you know what? Yeah, let me see. I definitely, as far as how do you come about, like when you're doing the show and everything? Because I see, you look down. Was that like those questions from prep, or you kind of like getting the flow, or you got questions premeditated? Like, what's your
So,
normal?
so to keep it honest with you, I prep talking points. I don't prep questions. I prep talking points because a question only gets you so far. Like a talking point, you can formulate questions from starting a conversation or like kind of going into another chapter of the conversation, right? And
Right.
also, I also leave a little bit of you know like a little bit of like freestyle
Yeah, a
just
little bit
to
of ad lib
yeah
room, little
just
ad lib
a
room. I
just a
got you.
little bit just a little bit of spontaneous effort, like being able to build these relationships and have these conversations with people like I think it's dope. Like I don't want to have everything like predetermined because that leaves you out the loop to be genuine or natural, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Like most of this is, all natural. Like you said, like
yeah,
we
yeah,
talked yesterday, so like
yeah.
we talked for almost 2 hours, man. Like just
That's
off a
crazy.
whim,
Yeah,
like so. I definitely come up with a couple questions, but they're mostly talking points though. And then from that point forward, I kind of formulate like specific, true to the conversation questions,
yeah.
just based off of what we talk about or something that I think about off of something that a person says.
Got you. I got you. I mean, it sounds like you know, somebody might say you got a good feel on it, but I feel like, you know what, it's definitely like you don't go into the same show the same way because
No, not at all.
everybody's different. So that's good. Like you said, you leave some room for
Yeah,
ad lib and
don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. And I don't want nobody to take this like, he just freestyles. Like I'm well prepared
oh
for
nah,
sure. You
nah,
know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Like
nah.
I'm
Yeah.
well prepared. Like don't
That's why I knew, like, I know you prepared because I see you glance down. I'm like, man, my man got a checklist. I'm
no,
like,
yeah, hey, man,
I like
you
that.
gotta be prepared though. Like you can't just I attribute it to like to like let's say like a jazz musician, right?
Yeah,
You got avant-garde uh artists, right? Which people who don't know, that's basically like freestyle but in jazz, right?
gotcha,
so
gotcha.
so not to say that like they just playing whatever, they know all the scales, you know what I mean? Like they know everything, they know all the music notes, they know the composition and everything. It just so happens that because I know that, I can kind of go off key a little bit and do my own
Yeah,
thing.
yeah, yeah.
That's essentially what I do as far as like, formulating, those talking points, but also kind of going with the flow of the conversation and formulating questions that way also.
So just by what you just said, I hope everybody that's listening takes that answer in, takes that answer in. And reason why I say take that answer in because that's the that's the summarization of what I say learn the business. Because when you learn the business, then you can move how you want to move. Like you know how you want to do the show. So you can, do anything, you can, ask this question because you prepared already. So you
Right.
already know how you want to just how to flow. If you don't want to do that question, you don't have to. If you do want to do that question, if another question sparks another question, you're good. You can kind of like move something around if you need to. So that's the same way of learn the business. When you learn who you need to communicate with, determining what you're trying to do, that helps you get to them faster and it makes you look better and it makes you look more professional too because bouncing around that don't look too good and
Yeah,
you
not at
know
all.
if you're going to get referred, it got to be a good referral. Like if somebody's like, okay, yeah, I'll refer you to the owner. Ooh, okay, there you go.
Yeah,
That's different. It's
that's a
like,
big joint.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So to answer that question, that's the best way I can answer it. Like,
yeah.
yeah.
I mean, I respect it, man, because like I said, we was on the phone yesterday for a prep and that didn't even feel like a prep. So I'm
At
like,
all, it just
damn,
felt like a regular combo, right? Like just on some
yeah.
regular cool type time. Like,
So that's what gave me the confidence. I'm like, yeah, man, this would be smooth show. Like
yeah,
that's
it's
that don't
easy.
get more welcoming than that. That's all I can say.
Yeah, and even something like that goes into the preparation process, right? Like it wasn't necessarily a prep. Like I mean, like we talked about like stuff that we talked about here, but
Yeah,
it
yeah,
was just more so of a formal introduction. And I think that like especially in something like this, like going, well, to me, it's not going above and beyond. Maybe for somebody else is going above and beyond, but like reaching out to people, talking to them prior
I
to
respect
getting
it,
on,
man.
like
Whatever they want to call it, I
that but
respect
that
it. Yeah,
that gives you a level of comfortability with the person, you being able to build that bond before you go on record and
yeah, yeah,
actually, I guess, have a first conversation for the first time in front of the blinking red light and people that's
yeah.
going to
But
listen
it,
to
it
it.
makes a difference, man.
Makes a
Like
hell of a lot of difference.
so, anybody that my man Nick done hit up, don't stop the faking. Go ahead and
Yeah,
answer
come
because
holler at me, man.
I'm gonna tell you now. In about 6 months, he ain't gonna be in the same position.
Oh
He
no,
gonna,
no,
he,
I'm gonna be blasting off, man.
yeah, it's gonna be on. You gonna be on a wait list, so you better get in now. He done already told you. He done did what, season 4, 2 years,
Yeah,
like, so
yeah.
20 episodes a season. Like, come on, man.
Mhm.
So y'all better lock in. Stop playing.
Oh, for sure. All right, so this the last thing, right? This is for everybody that come on the podcast. So it's customary that the guest gives 3 gems to the people, just like in general from the conversation we had. So if you could bless the people with 3 gems,
Yeah,
please.
man. I it's my humble like honor. So I respect that.
I
Before I
appreciate you.
start even give my knowledge, I just want to say thank you, Nick,
Oh,
my
for sure.
man. I
Thank you,
appreciate it.
man.
And I thank everybody that tuned in to my man Nick's show. And this is just a great opportunity for people to share knowledge and to build upon and ultimately network. Like
Absolutely.
we definitely networking on your podcast. And I told you yesterday, I'll say it again. Anything I can do and any energy I can put into this, I'm down, man. And I respect you. I appreciate the opportunity.
Oh,
So thank you
absolutely.
again.
I appreciate you, man, wholeheartedly. And again, like I told you yesterday, we definitely got some more work ahead of us for sure.
Yeah,
We
so
definitely could, definitely collaborate on some things, man.
definitely. But I'm gonna lock in with y'all. So 3 gems.
Yeah, 3 gems, man.
This
3.
this definitely is. I'm gonna come from the heart because
All right.
I'm gonna speak from my experiences. So first and foremost, the first one is you got to cut the doubt out. It sounds very cliche, but you have to, and it's okay to question. It's no problem. It's okay to say like, can I, can I? It's okay to ask yourself, do I want to? Do I want to? But don't say I can't. Like, don't say I can't do it. I can't, because you don't want to condition like your mind to think that, because it's really just a testament, a time, depending on what you want to do. You know, you have to be resilient. So doubt it doesn't feed resiliency. You can't be resilient if you have doubt in yourself. So it don't matter with any industry, like athletics, entertainment, whether it's being a police officer, you can't doubt yourself, because it's going to be adversity. And adversity is really kind of like you are putting the ink on the paycheck, because if you can't get through adversity, you can't sign a check. You can't get through adversity, you can't collect. So that's how it really go. So the first one is doubt. Second one is integrity. You got to have integrity, because you're going to be in situations where people don't know you, and you won't have an opportunity to explain who you are. So people need to feel, and people need to have opinions that reflect like who you are, and they have to be positive. So integrity does that. So if something, don't ever think you can get over on somebody. That's all I can say with that, like integrity, because it's easy to feel like, you know what, I can do this and they won't find out. And all it takes is, somebody to go pillow talk, spill the tea, and then now,
Yeah.
now your whole groove is messed up. So you got to
Mm-hmm.
have integrity. And lastly is just my saying, just for life. I just been saying it for the past few years. You got to just trust the process. And some people might say, well, that's like doubt. And like, nah, trust the process is like, I met Nick. Nick is along this process. I trust anything that he bring along is going to be for the benefit of what we both trying to do.
For
So
sure.
I'm all in. I'm all in. So you got to trust the people that leave your life. Don't fight for them. It's going to be people that aren't going to be with you, that go on a journey, because
Mm.
that's what it is.
That's
When
a
you
very
decide to
important
do
point.
something,
Very important
when you
point.
when you decide to do something, you're deciding to take a journey. So, whether it's going to be a week, a month, a year, or who knows, you decided to take a journey. So, not everybody going to believe that you can do it. Not everybody going to believe you should do it. So, you got to trust. It's no love lost, but they can't be on the process. And the people that are with you, you got to trust that they're supposed to be there, and don't fight them out. And what I mean by that is, if somebody wants to help you, let them. Let them. Like, you gotta trust people. Like, it's easy to be like, nah, I don't want no help because I don't want nobody to say this and say that. And everybody wants to say they did it on their own, but you need help. You gotta let people help you, and that's how you build a team. And that helps the process just go along. And I don't even have to say trust. Like, trust the process. Like, you understand, everything's a process. Who you meet, where you go, and that's how I really just kind of like take my walk now. Like, that's my journey through life, business, life, everything. I believe everybody who I'm coming across that's what I'm supposed to come across. Everything I'm supposed to do, I'm supposed to do. Everything that's supposed to happen, that's supposed to happen, because it's no punishments, only lessons. Like, no losses, only lessons. So you can take a L. Which L you gonna take?
All right.
So it's your choice.
Shit, man, couldn't think of a better way to end it, man. Listen, I thank you so much, man. I truly do. I appreciate you reaching out to me, expressing interest in coming on a podcast, and I'm just happy that I was good enough to respond, man.
Yeah, I was like, yo, he hit me back. I was like, let me
Yeah,
holler.
it wasn't even 2 minutes, man. But
Yeah,
like
bro, respect.
I truly appreciate you coming on here and talking about what you do and dropping a lot of gems, and for us to continue to build this relationship. I truly appreciate it, man. Thank you so much for that.
Nah, that's a vibe, bro. I respect it. Peace and love to everybody that's tuning in and will tune in into the future, because that's the beautiful thing about podcasts, man. It's the new encyclopedias, the audiobooks,
Yeah,
and you can reflect on
we creating
knowledge,
history right now.
information. Yeah, man. So peace to all the people that will tune in and eventually tune in. Like, this is forever. So we
Yeah.
doing it.
All right. Well, thank you again, Alpha. I appreciate you. And also wanted to just say thank you to all the HolloTalk podcast listeners and supporters for supporting us through and through. We appreciate y'all and we love y'all. Alpha, again, thank you, my brother. I appreciate you wholeheartedly. Thanks to Patrick too for coming on for,
Yeah,
a
hey,
cool 10, 15
we
minutes.
we just we just said something new, man, because people don't realize Alpha, the Alpha Wolf. We getting the wolf on. We got the howl talk, man. We about to get the howl on. I'm about to get some shirts made, like, so Alpha, like the wolf, and a howl. Watch, I'm gonna get some shirts made. Watch, I'm gonna send one down to you too.
For sure.
Howl Talk podcast. We get a wolf on that joint. Get your howl on. I'm telling you.
All right, well, I'm gonna get you out of here, man. Again, I thank you. I appreciate you, and I definitely look forward to getting with you and talking to you some more, man.
It's a vibe. Everybody be safe. Be safe, my guy. Appreciate you again, Nick.
All right,
One love.
peace, man.
Peace.